St. John the Philosopher here. Nissan recently released a commercial for their new Sentra featuring everyone's favorite Hollywood social justice warrior, Brie Larson. And people hate it. I mean, they really hate it. I watched the same commercial and have found that there's a pretty big divide between what I saw and the response it garnered. But I think I figured it out. I'm calling it the Brie Larson Effect. Huh? The commercial opens with a young lady being denied a promotion by her male supervisor. Brie Larson swoops in, driving the car that's supposed to be the subject of the commercial, and takes the lady for a bit of a joyride. Larson uses the car as an object lesson for a pep talk. The car doesn't compromise on handling or safety, yada yada, car stuff. You get it. She finally swings around back to where they started and releases the fired up woman with a verbal pat on the back as she rushes off to confront her boss.
Atta girl.
As of this recording, the YouTube version of this commercial with over 310,000 views has 4,500 likes compared to 31,000 dislikes. Speaking of YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell for notifications. It costs you nothing, but it means a whole lot to me and to the channel. Back to the matter at hand. In my view, this commercial is at worst innocuous. We've seen this situation before in pretty much every genre of entertainment. The employee that just can't get that promotion they feel they deserve.
I'm afraid I can't promote you.
What?
I can't afford to give up my best analyst.
To be clear, you are not promoting me because I do such a great job.
Oh, for crying out loud, SpongeBob! You didn't get the job!
What?
You did not get the job!
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair.
In fact, there are movies with a B-plot built entirely around the idea that the main character has to grow or change in some way before they can make it over that hurdle. Often that growth is simply a matter of confidence and a willingness to stand up for themselves. The commercials seem to be playing on that trope in a pretty straightforward manner. If I were to squint at it a little, I could also see something of a message to women. You see, men and women on average differ in a number of personality traits that have a significant role in creating many of the gender differences in life outcomes we see across society. In this case, the relevant trait is what's called agreeableness. Women on average tend to score higher in agreeableness than men, and being high in agreeableness makes people, of either gender, less likely to negotiate for things of value, like job positions and salaries. Dr. Jordan Peterson, in both his academic research and his clinical practice, has probably done the most to bring this idea into the public discourse, so I'll let him get a word in about it.
If you want to develop your career in terms of promotion, say, and salary, is like you have to be competent and you have to be strategic. And to be strategic, when you negotiate for a new position or for a new salary, you have to be able to say, if you don't give me what I want, then something you don't like will happen to you. And what that means, it's not a physical threat, it's that you have an option. So you have your CV, your resume in order, right? You're educated and competent and desirable to people outside of your immediate job. You're willing to instantly put yourself in the job market and undergo the stress of finding a new position and undergoing interviews and all of that. And you have that all planned out. I mean, one of the things I do in my counseling practice, for example, when I'm consulting with women who are trying to advance their careers, is to teach them how to negotiate and to be able to say no and to not be easily pushed around.
To my ears, that harkens back to our dramatic trope of a character having to learn how to stand up for themselves. In the parlance of the Nissan commercial, it's the idea of being uncompromising. So I didn't see this commercial's plot, for lack of a better term, as anything more than that. That's not what other people saw, though. They saw the SJW conception of a patriarchal misogynist mansplaining his bigotry, and a woman being hyped up by the fire-breathing feminist-in-chief here to believe that she deserves the promotion because of vagina power.
Yas queen. Yas queen. Yas queen. Yas queen. Again! Yas queen. Yas.
So I'm left here wondering, how the heck did we get here? How is it that people have come to read an aggressively adversarial subtext into things that can easily be read another way. I think this particular story starts back in mid-2016 when Brie Larson was cast as Captain Marvel. The Marvel Cinematic Universe by this time had become an entertainment juggernaut, with a ton of fans all over the globe gobbling up every bit of news about its future plans and talking about it non-stop until the next bit of news hit the internet. The MCU fanbase, particularly us OG nerds who liked this stuff before it was cool, looked at this casting with cautious optimism.
I would say I feel the same way about Brie Larson being cast as Captain Marvel as I do another recent Disney casting decision. That's Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. I mean, you can't deny that both individuals are incredibly talented, and there are definitely worse choices for both roles. However, are there better choices? I would have to say, off the top of my head, yes.
She certainly wasn't our first choice, but we've been pleasantly surprised in the past, and the people running the show had garnered a lot of goodwill. And then things started to get weird. The otherwise delightful, good-spirited, Oscar-winning young actress started to morph right in front of our eyes into an entitled, unlikable SJW, and it was not pretty.
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. Am I saying that I hate white dudes?
Great question. Duh.
I did my stunts because I thought that that's what everyone did. And then
Tom Cruise, I mean?
No, I'll be the first me, not the next Tom Cruise. Thank you very much.
Well, you know.
Who is Brie Larson's stunt double? I have two.
Other people besides white dudes like Star Wars.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Right, guys?
Yeah.
Isn't it fun being there for all my extra takes?
Trained you up.
Am I saying that I hate white dudes?
A lot. Thanks for asking.
It also didn't help that amidst an intensely ham-fisted girl power marketing campaign, the trailers highlighted what was shaping up to be one of the most lifeless and stilted performances in the MCU since that one-time Groot was reduced to a stick. Fans, of course, took to the internet to voice their displeasure, only to be called woman-hating man-babies and be attacked on social media by entertainment journalists and SJW comics creators. The same tactic used to defend such box office bombs as Ghostbusters 2016, Terminator Dark Fate, Charlie's Angels, and Birds of Prey and the fantabulous... I can't. I'm not saying the rest of that. All of this, of course, took place during the unprecedented rise of SJW culture as the divisive, mean-spirited harassment movement that has poisoned enough of society to make us wonder if Western civilization is going to survive.
How dare you?
SJWs are the ones that introduced the term manspreading to the public lexicon. They push the believe all women stuff, completely throwing out the long-standing concept of innocent until proven guilty. They're the ones always talking about the patriarchy and fascism and every other ism. They created the concept of toxic masculinity, which applies the behavior of the worst men in society to the entirety of what it means to be male, in order to malign everyone with a Y chromosome. Unless you identify as female, but that's a whole other story that I'm not gonna get into, thank you very much. No, sir.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Mentally unstable, divorced from reality, eternally unhappy, always looking for someone to destroy, SJWs are some of the worst people a safe and wealthy society can produce.
I'm f***ing better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage.
And somehow, their foothold in entertainment has given us gems like that infamous Gillette commercial. You know the one.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
If one takes into account all of that cultural history, all of that personal context attached to one Brie Larson, suddenly the harmless commercial about a woman learning not to compromise in her pursuit of her career goals turns into something very, very different.
Atta girl.
And that's the Larson Effect.
So, thanks.
While it may well have begun as a real recognition of bias and unfairness, whatever movement that spawned the SJWs of today has long been buried by the blind reactionary rage of people who see sexist and racist boogeymen everywhere. We can't let our righteous indignation at these woke scolds turn us into the same kind of eternally offended crybabies. as understandable as it may be, it's not healthy, and it's one of the quickest ways to become what you hate. The only thing I can suggest we do is make every attempt to err on the side of ignoring it. This Nissan commercial is pretty far away from the Gillette commercial on the woke scale, so our reaction to it ought to reflect that difference. Stay vigilant, my friends, but don't let that Larson Effect ruin you. Tell me what you think of this video. What do you think about my Larson Effect theory? What are some examples you've seen recently in news and entertainment? Discuss in the comments. In the meantime, be sure to like, subscribe, and share for more videos on religion, culture, and politics. That's all for today. Goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you in another video.